All right, hello guys. It has been a while, and I finally moved into my new place. As you can see here, I have a brand new drawing table here. I've got a whole new camera setup, which I think might be pretty good. Lighting setup and everything, so I think that the quality of the videos should look pretty good. Hopefully the sound quality is going to be pretty decent too. But today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite comics ever, which is Weird Love, and it's basically just reprints of old 50s, 60s romance comics. And it is great to see the mentality behind a lot of these stories. They never seem to go where you think they should go, and it's kind of wild. And I'll give you a few examples here. Phantom Lover, okay? So I read this the other day, and basically what we have here is we have a girl who went swimming on a foggy night, and apparently she swam out too far, and on her way back she has realized that she doesn't have the strength to continue, and she's pretty sure she's going to drown right here when a stranger appears and saves her life. Now this is from 1959, okay? Personal Love, Volume 2, number 5, okay? So she gets rescued by this phantom stranger who's wearing this, old-timey outfit or whatever. And she ends up going home thinking about this person. The next day at her school campus, she sees that this is the person that rescued her, okay? And she's just like, oh my God, so I'm like so in love with this person from the past, and he's a phantom, obviously, because he died in 1857, but he came back from the netherworld in order to save me from drowning. So she goes back out to this area to see if she can find this phantom again, and yes, he appears, okay? And when he does, just gives her a kiss. She believes that it is John Halliburton, okay? And after this kiss, he leaves her, and she's just like, oh my God, that was like the kiss of true love, and I need to see this person, okay? And then wandering through town, or she comes across this thing where it's like, oh, there's a novel here written by this person, okay? This phantom or whatever. So she goes and finds like this guy's address to find out that he is in fact not a phantom. He's just some guy who wears that costume and like goes out at night or whatever. And they both just magically like fell in love with each other just that night. Like that's it. It's so crazy that's what it is. Like I get it, these are romance things or whatever, right? Like weird fantasy should take place here, but some of the storylines just don't lead where you think they're going to lead. Yes, they're going to lead to people being together at the end. We get that. But sometimes it feels like it shouldn't be that way, and it's kind of wild. This dancing shame thing, basically they are a dance couple and, a romantic couple at the same time. She wants things to go a certain way. He's kind of standing up for his morals. He's not, inclined to do this or whatever. Well, she goes to this party and kind of flirts with this guy who's like a big name entertainment producer or whatever. And he's like, hey, bring your partner here or whatever. And she kind of lies to him also, like says she's single in order to get an audition. And he's like, yes, you guys are great. We're going to do a $300 a week contract. But after like the first act, we're going to ditch this dude and you're going to go out and dance solo and look good. And her boyfriend's just like, okay, hold on. She's not some kind of a burlesque act or whatever. And she's like, hey, this is money that we need, so I'm going to do this. And when he walks out, like her boyfriend walks out, this dude's like, hey, you kind of lied to me about being single, didn't you? And she's like, yeah, I needed to do it, get the audition. And he immediately just makes a move on her, which, she goes for. She was willing, I guess, to do this in order to get the job. So she goes out and does this burlesque dancing thing. And he says that there was a guy that enjoyed the show. So he wanted her, the guy wants to meet her. So she set him up with that. So she goes to talk to the guy, and he immediately, makes a move on her because he thinks, okay, this is what it's going to be. and she slaps him, and he's like, I don't understand. Like, this is what, you were supposed to be doing. And when she goes back, this guy's like, why would you slap this guy? He's, you know, going to be paying for your next gig or whatever. You did this with me. Why wouldn't you do it with him? And then she's like, oh, I was so stupid to do this. I really wish I could find my ex-boyfriend again, who just happens to appear at that exact moment, and then they decide to live happily ever after. So the stuff is just, it's wild. Here we have Hotel Hopeful. This girl comes to this hotel where she's going to live cheaply until she can make it on Broadway as an actress. And she meets this director, and this director is going to give her a shot, but apparently the girl there, okay, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit. So the one blonde girl is new to Hotel Hopeful, and she's being shown around by one of the people there. And that person is showing her the Wall of Fame. And one of the girls at the Wall of Fame isn't really famous. They don't know like who that person is. So she decides to tell the story. And the story was basically that this person met this kind of big time Broadway director, and that guy put her in a show. But the star of the show was actually just like being kind of a bitch. So the director was like, hey, how about we're going to put you in a different scene with this woman, because basically this woman, the character, is supposed to kill herself on a prop spear. And the director's like, why don't you be the person to hand her the spear instead of her doing that? That way, you can get out on stage and get this part. And she's like, sure, I'll do that. But when she hands her this fake weapon, it's not fake, it's real. She ends up impaling herself. And it was all set up by this director. So the girl gets arrested for attempted murder. And while she is awaiting trial, this like hero lawyer shows up and says, like, hey, I believe that you're innocent, so I'm going to fight for you. And he does get her off. But this girl's like, so again, like, why is she, famous? And it's basically because she ended up marrying that lawyer and having like 3 kids. So this girl's lesson is like, hey, maybe you don't want to, be on Broadway and be an actress. You should instead look for a husband and kids, because that's what real life is about. It's basically like all of that for all of these stories, and it's kind of wild. This one's where a good girl falls in love with a dude that's the leader of a gang. And basically she just like wanders into an alley and gets sexually assaulted by him. And then once she's, he like forced a kiss on her or whatever, all she can do is think about that kiss forever until she ends up like dating this guy, right? And this guy kind of turns her into a bad girl and brings her in while they like, they use her to lure men into like a park by themselves so that they can jump him and steal all his money. And then finally she realizes that she doesn't want to be known as that girl or whatever. So she ends up like breaking up with the guy and just being single. So that's kind of wild, that the romance part of this book was basically her, not winning in the end. I guess the winning part was, breaking up with the guy. But a bunch of these, like that last one was, forget the murder, the attempted murder part or anything like that. The moral of the story was go marry some guy, or we're going to skip like the lesson of the murder part. Like don't fall for this if you get into Broadway or whatever, because that's like what happens. It's so wild that like you had like a better story buried under here, and they're like, no, forget that. The better story is she got married. Okay. This one's great. This girl here wants to date men, but she doesn't know where to find one. So she happens to notice that, while walking down the street, that this girl with a dog gets all this attention from men who love dogs. So she literally goes out to get a dog for that reason. And everybody who likes the dog is not her type of man. So she's a little like pissed off about that. And then finally, when she meets a guy who's like not a fan of dogs, this dog kind of hates the guy. And but she like is really into the dude, so she doesn't care that like he doesn't seem to like dogs or whatever. And it just goes on like that. So then it turns into a different thing. Like she starts dating the guy, she loves him, and then she thinks that the guy, because they live like right across the alley from each other, she thinks the guy cheated on her. So she stops talking to him. only to find out that that was just like for a modeling thing, because he's a writer or something like that, and sometimes he'll pose for the pictures. So we kind of forget the dog even exists for a couple of pages of their dating or whatever. And it's not until she wants to get this guy back because she realizes she messed up that she ends up like sicking her dog on the guy to chase him up a tree so that she can like win him back. And then in the end, this dog here is just walking their baby because, again, you know, what they need is to be together. That's the point of the romance novels. I don't know. It's wild. I kind of love the stories. There was another one I read where a girl falls in love with, there are twin boys who are like 18 years old. She's like 13, and she falls in love with one of the twins, but that twin is not interested in her, so the other one likes her, and she ends up dating the other one for years. But once they become serious, then the original twin that she loved, who didn't like her, he comes after her, and she literally dumps the one that's like loved her forever in order to be with the one she originally loved. And he was only doing it because he didn't like the idea of his twin brother getting something that he didn't have or whatever. So it's wild because they acted like she won and she like really didn't, because, you know, obviously that's going to end sour or whatever. So I don't know, it's just wild. That's why it's called weird love. It's this weird mentality that was back in that day that just doesn't translate to the way things are today or anything. So it's wild. But if you ever see any of these, I recommend picking them up. I do like the stuff also, like I want to get these, you know, Fiction House, super weird heroes and everything. Just reprints of older comics and everything. I love this Hypnox. Look at the face on that dude, right? That's kind of awesome. I wonder if we need to focus here. There we go, right? Yeah, so that's kind of wild. But I do love these things. Like, obviously, this girl here who's held captive is going to fall in love either with the person who took her hostage or the cop, you know. You would think it's the cop, but for some reason I feel like it'd end up being the original kidnapper that she falls in love with. That's how weird these things are. But you know, guys, it's like, it's good to be back. I promise to be making, you know, some more videos and everything. But this is just one that I read that I got for free. I got this one for free by going to a new comic book store around my area. And this is what the guy gave me for like being a new customer or whatever. Actually, here are the books I got. I got a Savage Sword of Conan, which or Conan Saga, and then a Savage Sword of Conan, right? I like these. I got this haunted horror book here because I'm like a fan of that type of stuff. I got this Eek book, which was weird. I'm going to do a review on this one too. I like it. I like the artwork in it and everything. Just has a lot of things that you don't think you'd see in this day and age. And that's it. That's what I got at the new store right there. So I'm probably going to do a review on each of these. I like that I got this like Savage Sword of Conan. It was like $5. And the quality on it is pretty good. At my old comic shop, I used to pay double for ones that are like water damaged and everything. And these were pretty good. So I like that. But, you know, again, guys, I'm back. So I'm going to be doing some more videos. And I'm going to finally be working on the comic because like I took all summer in order to move to like a new state, new house, get all this new stuff and everything in order to do this. So yeah, I know I fell off and everything, but I'm back and I'm going to be doing some more. All right, guys. So until next time.